our final segment for today as we explore the products that are made by Cha'il Mayan Products. We have with us Julio Saqui, who is the owner of this particular company. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you very much. Thanks for inviting me.
And we're venturing into a world of chocolate.
It's what we call
That's my favorite.
We call it the black gold.
The black gold.
All right.
All right. So Julio, let's just start off by finding out a bit about you. You are from Maya Center, you said.
Correct.
A Mopan Mayan. Mm-hmm. And you ventured into production of cacao products. How did that happen?
I still can't figure out how I'm in here.
Huh?
Because, I have a tour guide background, so I love to do tours. But when I moved from tours, resigned, I went into doing something different. And I made a small museum. Yeah. And that museum will bring people to come in and see how the Mayas live. They make their own tortillas. They have fun. But then I introduced chocolate. Mm-hmm. And when I introduced chocolate, chocolate took off like an airplane. Mm-hmm. So now we separate them. And we put the museum in the back burner, and we're more concentrating on chocolate. But it's something that I wanted to do. I have always wanted to be my own person and then move at my own pace. And what excites me most is when people, pick up the product and they give you money for it.
Yeah.
That's kind of like what excites me. But I love the chocolate business. It's just something that I enjoy doing.
This has been a journey for you, I would assume, in terms of learning and understanding how this aspect of business works using this one particular product. Correct. Talk to us about that.
It's something that is exciting because when it starts from here, you have to go through the many process, and for you to become to produce good chocolate, you have to start from the very beginning. And the very beginning is cacao, and that requires that we actually go and do fermentation the proper way.
You have your own farm as well. This is the cacao. This is the start of chocolate.
Correct. That's
for
where it
people.
starts.
That's always the fascination when tourists come in, I'm sure.
Yes, they thought that chocolate was in foil. Because that's what they did. That's what they
were doing. That the beans, when you open it, would be brown already because chocolate is
ready
brown.
to eat, but it's not so.
Yeah.
So this has to go through a lot of process, and it takes from the actual pod to the chocolate bar in your hand, 21 days.
Yeah. Because you sun dry it?
We have to dry after the fermentation because it turns into alcohol.
Yeah.
So we have to put it in the sun so that all the alcohol evaporates, and then the flavor develops some more. So it's a lot of care that it requires.
So, my first exposure to this, the cacao pod, was actually in a Mayan village, and I didn't know either as a Belizean. When you go through the process of creating the chocolate, this is actually something that has ties back to the culture. In fact, cacao or chocolate has been a part of the Mayan culture. Talk to us about how it used to be used and how much you've held on to that tradition in terms of the processing.
Okay, in the days gone by, cacao is something very special. Not like how we look at it today. Yeah. Today we look at chocolate as just a treat, it's just a gift, and then you give somebody, but when the Mayans had it, it's more of for a ceremonial thing. It's more of a spiritual thing where there's great respect for it, and I guess that's why not very many people that are in the Mayan community have it, because it's only for a few. Yeah. But this is very special for especially when people are performing their rituals.
Yeah. So I can recall, just to jump in real quickly, I can recall having visited some of the Maya villages down south as a child, and one of the things that they would do in terms of greeting you into their homes would be to offer you a cacao tea.
Yeah.
Cacao
as bitter
drink.
as it may have been, bitter as it may have been to some of us who are used to Milo as opposed to just it's a symbol of respect.
Correct.
And in researching it, we understand as well that cacao was not only used as legal tender in place of money back then, in terms of trading and what have you, it was also known as a drink of the gods.
Drink of the gods. Yeah, and that's true. And so when you, like you said, when you go to the Mayan community, they give you what they have, is what we call the black gold.
Yeah.
And they're like inviting you to. And that's what you do. So what I've done is I have turned it around and add a little more thing to it, and that's why we have that instant
So
drink.
you made it more palatable for
now
people.
people
We're used to more sugar.
Right, and that has some sugar for you. It's an instant drink. It's kind of like the same thing. So you can see the picture of the calabash, which is what they use. That's how they would give it to you and invite you in their houses. And that's why I made that product there.
Yeah. So this is one of your products. The transition that you made, that you spoke of, was having your tour available and just showing how you produce different Mayan foods and things that stay true with the tradition. And then you realized that people really like the chocolate aspect. What was the first product you made?
Well, the first product I made, which was not too difficult to come up with, but not really good, is chocolate. That's the first thing I made, and it was something that that excited me. I said, well, I can improve on this product. And as it goes by, I keep trying and trying and trying until finally I got the opportunity to go and look at how other people are doing it. And that is all I needed. I'm a quick learner, and then I started doing my own chocolate. So that's the first product we made. And then the second product we made after that is actually the tea.
Cacao tea. Tell us about that.
Now, cacao.
Is it just tea flavored with cacao?
No, it's not. No, it's actually the outer shell of the bean. But it's not just putting it in there. We have to go through a process of fermentation and flavoring before we actually make it. But that's one of the second product we make, because when we were cleaning the room where I work, I accidentally spilled hot water on it. Just on the shells and that thing, that smell, that aroma just filled the air, and I said, wow, I wish I could do something with it. And then eventually I started to do some research and get it going. So it took me 2 years to fine tune it, and that is what we have. So we have them both in the loose form and in the actual tea form.
So we have tea bags, cacao tea bags, and it's made off of the shells of the cacao.
Correct. Now take that smell and then tell me what you think.
I'm a chocolate lover. That smells divine.
And that's what you would get in your cup in the morning. You brew this just like how you do brew coffee, the same thing.
I kid you not, this is like opening a delicious bar of chocolate. It smells so good.
It's just chocolate. It smells like, but there is no chocolate in there. When you brew it, the water is like a regular black tea, brown colored water. Now you can just add sugar if you want, or drink it just like that.
Okay, so we have cacao. You went from chocolate bars to cacao tea, and then?
And then after we go along, as you go along, you begin to grow, you begin to do things, and I realized that I can't do milk chocolate without having cocoa butter.
Okay.
So then I made my own press, my own way of pressing the cocoa butter, and the leftover of that is we couldn't throw it out. It's just too good. Why should we throw it out? And then we made the powder. Cocoa powder. So this is equivalent to that of the, you don't have to go to the shops and you buy the Roma cocoa. That's even better. It's pure.
Something. There seems to be sort of a boom in cacao production on one end and the venturing into the finished products on the other end. Where do you fit in that burgeoning industry?
It's a challenge because we are small producers. Unlike the bigger producers they have more access to the market, they have more money, they have more technical people. We don't. We're doing it basically by trial and error. So, but the fitting in is challenging, but I made myself get in there by making fine products. So even those that are making chocolate, they would come and taste our chocolate and say, what is it that you're doing? And I tell them, I don't know. It's just hard to tell, but I know what I'm doing.
That's your own secret, all the love you put in. So I was asking you about your export market, and you said that while the finished products, obviously you have to go through different standard requirements, you are able to send off the raw product.
We are able to sell as an association because we have the association, and the association takes it and sell it. But what we're trying to do now, what I'm trying to do now, I am trying to work with another group instead of selling the beans, let's sell the end products, the byproducts, which fetches more dollars than the actual
value added.
Because then when they get this multiplies into many different products, as you are doing here.
So that's why we're trying to encourage the farmers to keep planting, because I'm sure that in the very near future there's going to be another organization that's going to actually buy the beans and produce it in country rather than shipping it out. And that's one of the things that I'm venturing. So why do we need to send it out? Let's do it here.
Yeah.
But it's just, the problem is that we're very small. We don't have a lot of people with us.
But we are told that the cacao in Belize is of very high standards. It's why it's so sought after. What's so unique about the beans that we produce?
The flavor of the beans.
Okay.
Our beans is not totally bitter. If you taste the beans from Africa, from Ecuador, from Brazil, the beans is totally bitter. You really can't eat it just like that. But this beans, you can actually eat just like that. It's not totally bitter, but when you chew it enough and then you swallow just the nibs itself, there's that taste, aftertaste that fills the palates. And then you will tell the difference between that beans and the others that are out there. Belize produces fine cacao, really high quality.
And in fact, is oftentimes produced into high quality chocolate bars, especially in Europe. We've seen, and we're talking high-end prices as well. So it would be wonderful if we'd be able to create some of the final products or some of the byproducts to get out. How far are we in that process?
We're still very far away.
Yeah.
We're producing quality products. Trust me, these chocolates are fine. And in fact, I have a Swiss chocolatier come over and do chocolate with us, because we do take people on tour. You see how the Maya people make their chocolate traditionally. He was on that tour, and when he finished and tasted the actual chocolate, he's like, wow, how do I get this across? This is so good. So what has been happening, though, they have been buying the beans, but they're blending it with the other beans so that balances the flavor.
For you to venture into producing fine product for export, as Marlene mentioned, there are varying degrees of requirements for standards and what have you, HACCP being one of them. Does that then mean that perhaps you would have to all come together as an association or form your own organization that would then go about putting together the infrastructure in terms of perhaps a facility that does the actual processing and then export the value added?
It is one way of going, but it's a challenge because in Belize, we do not have the equipment we need to fine tune. And even if you want to source it outside, it's very expensive. So collective working is a challenge. I don't know why, but most Belizeans don't work with each other. But,
in other words, we're competing too much with each other instead of trying to come together, because we could have a production association and perhaps get some of the products out.
So the final part of your question is, even here in Belize, the people who are supposed to supervise the fine product you're doing, we don't have them. And when you start to do things and somebody comes from the outside and blocks you, then you have to start all over again. And that's not cheap. It's an expensive venture. It's an expensive venture,
So you are marketing all these products here in Belize, with the exception of the raw product, which you can export through the association. What has been the response from Belizeans?
You know, I'm very encouraged by the Belizeans. Since I think and I have to put the credits to the Chocolate Festival people that started the Chocolate Fest. It starts to educate the Belizean people on eating quality chocolate. So I have at least, I would say, 5 to 6 Belizeans stopping by at the factory and buying chocolate from us. Before, we never used to do that. They just don't look at it. It's too expensive. They can't afford it, and they just don't want it. They prefer the other chocolate. But now they have been developing that interest, and it's quite exciting for me. Now,
we are accustomed to your chocolate bars, chocolate candy bars. So we're used to very sweet products. And oftentimes when you try an organic chocolate bar, we'll say, oh, it's too bitter, or it's not perhaps what I'm accustomed to when I want to have a milk chocolate bar. Where does your product run? Is it on the sweeter end? Is it more on the organic, semi-sweet?
We are in between. We are on the organic, semi-sweet, but we also make milk chocolate.
Okay.
For those that don't want bitter.
Yeah.
So our job is to make sure we make the product so you can have it, so you can enjoy it, because there's no need for me to make it and nobody will buy it.
Yeah.
So
Which one sells more?
For the Belizean people, milk.
Milk chocolate, yeah.
But
which has less chocolate than the other chocolate bars?
We make 40% of chocolate in the actual bar. Unlike commercial chocolate, it's only 10%.
Wow. Yeah.
Only 10% of it. So in here we have 40%, and in the dark side of it, we do 80% upwards. So you're tasting the real chocolate. Yeah. So besides doing just the other products, we also can personalize your chocolate. If you have a wedding, if you want to have a party, we can do that.
Yeah.
That's our job.
So if we contact you, let's say I have a birthday party coming up and I want to have a specialized chocolate bar, you can make this with a personalized logo.
Personalized. In fact, I want you to turn that over and check it out.
This one. And there! Check that. Can we zoom into this? Where are we? Over here? These are open your eyes chocolates.
So we can do things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, we have done it before, so that's what we do.
Yeah. So this is really great for people when they're looking for something unique for parties as well.
Right. We have had some people ordering for their weddings, and we make it for them. So we have that capacity to do it, or capability of doing it. It's just that in Belize we are not into it as yet, but we will very soon, and I can say that the Belizean people are going to start to actually now appreciate locally made chocolate. But
we also have cacao nibs.
That's nibs.
Let me say a thing about cacao nibs. Belizeans are getting more health conscious, and cacao nibs is actually considered one superfood outside of Belize.
Correct.
I mean, people are snacking on it, mixing it into stuff. It's kind of like how we see moringa now. Cacao nibs is considered very, very healthy, and we can get it right here from Chade.
Correct. We make it like for people to eat. That is a roast method that is suitable for you to eat right away, because some people do only make it for chocolate, but we make it for both. And the way we roast is still traditional, so there's that high level of flavor inside that is, when you cook rice and beans on over fire heart, you have more taste than on the stove. Kind of like the same thing. It gives you more flavor.
Yeah, it's good for energy and lots of antioxidants.
You can mix it with peanuts and raisins, and you make your own thing. You don't have to be worried about anything else. That could be your breakfast.
You know what I'm thinking now? If you mix it into a fudge, although
there you go.
I don't know how healthy it'll be with all the sugar you get in the fudge. So how do people get your products?
We have a small Facebook appearance, and people reach us through that. But it's just mostly more word of mouth. What has been happening, though, our sales have increased tremendously, is I have offered the opportunity to the resorts around me in Hopkins, in Placencia. Listen, you can bring your visitor to us. We'll show them how to make chocolate. Now, it's a win-win situation, because when they come to me, they buy the product after we show them what they're doing. And for the hotel or resort or tour operator, they would make the money of transporting them from the hotel to where we are. So it's a win-win situation.
So the tour is free?
No, there's a fee to the tour. There's a fee to the tour, but it's not just a tour. You really go get educated. We tell you everything, and then when you come back, you manually make your own chocolate. By the time you're done, 1 hour later, you have your chocolate in your hand, and then you're excited about it. So that's what we do.
This is not just something that tourists can do. Belizeans can go. They can take their families to do it as well.
We have had a lot of Belizeans come to do the tours. We have from Dangriga. We have many people. Many Belizeans come. I mean, of course, I give them a better deal, but they come, and we encourage that.
So where is your museum located?
It's right where the factory is, the chocolate factory. It's right behind. But like I said, right now it's dormant. We're going to renovate it. We're going to do everything with it. So, but we're mostly concentrating on chocolates because that's what most people ask for.
Do you have any outlets in Belize City as yet?
No, not in Belize City. I don't have, but there is an outlet in Cayo, in Socots.
Okay.
We have a small outlet there at Don Bartolo's residence. He do arts and crafts and paintings. That's where our chocolate is. There's also one at the Shell station in San Ignacio by the Haxford Bridge. There's also another place there that sells the products. And then there's another one in Belmapan at the gas station Shell that also sells the chocolate for us. So we do have small little outlets like that, but we haven't been able to get into Placentia yet, which is where we're looking at right now. But we need to sell it. We need to make back some money so we can continue buying beans, because the farmers can't survive if we don't sell the product. So we have to be able to make the product and produce.
So we can get instant chocomaya, we can get cacao powder, we can get the beans if we want the beans, we can get the nibs, we can get cacao tea, and of course we can get the final product, the chocolate as well, and even personalize if you contact them to be able to produce it. I love that.
We also make, that I didn't bring today, we also make what we call the chocolate liqueur. You know, it's like Belize. It's milk based, it's chocolate, and it has about, it has a 13% alcohol in there. So it's good, but I didn't bring it because I'm afraid it's going to break in my bag.
Or is it because you finished it before you got here? We didn't get a chance to say it, but Chail means?
Okay, Chail is a Mopan Maya word, and it means wild Mayan. And we choose that name because way back, even we can say as early as 20 years ago, when our elders go out into the jungle, they would just see somebody and then they would just disappear. Yeah. And then I know from the story that my great grandfather was saying that those are wild Mayan. They are there, but they run away. So then I said, okay, if they run away, then that's good. But then they would find cacao just growing in the jungle. And I realized that that's maybe they're the ones planting it. So I said, let's just put the name Chail, Wild Mayan Chocolate. And that's how we came up to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when you go visit us, which is, I think you should, we have different flavors.
Yeah, let me see.
Different flavors.
So there's an orange flavor, there's a dark chocolate, ginger. There is the 80% dark chocolate, and regular and milk chocolate. There it is.
Yeah, and we do mint, we do orange, we do coffee, we do ginger. In fact, the refuse of the ginger we don't throw away.
We do ginger tea.
And we do ginger tea with it. Because it's too good to throw away. Why would you want to throw away something that's good? But you could go ahead and try that and taste it. Tell me what you think.
So is this a particular plant or fruit, if I may, that can be used all the way through the process, where nothing is wasted?
Yes, that is the only beauty about cacao. You should not waste any part of it.
The pod, though.
The pod, this yellow pod, if you dry it, you can grind it, and then you mix it with corn. It becomes animal feed. You can't give it to your dogs though, because it has theobromine. It might kill the dog. But the horse, the cows, and the pigs, that's good for them. So even the shell, like I'm saying, we use the outer shell and process it into tea. But when it goes into fermentation, there's a lot of juice that drips out. Now, for as an accidental thing, I collected the juice and I left it in the bucket after moving away from the box. I forgot all about it. 5 days later, I said I need to go get the bucket and get another, because they're coming in. So I need to clean that out. Then when I opened it, there's a big bomb. And it smells just like wine. So now I started to collect it, and then we can now make chocolate wine.
Chocolate wine. Yeah. So you use the pod, can be used for animal feed, farm animals, not domestic animals. The beans itself, which will look like this, the shells of it, the insides of it, and of course, the white coating of the beans is for us to eat.
Correct. It's good stuff. I know some places in Costa Rica, they would scrape the inner white part and they would deep fry it, and you can enjoy it.
This is what we're talking about here. If anybody's eaten jackfruit, where you eat the skin off the beans, this is the same, and it's delicious. Deep fried though, that's something to try.
This product, like I'm saying, is totally usable in unlike other product. Let's say about oranges, you only can get the juice from it. And then the oil, but not very much, and then the peel, and then what you do with it. But this, you can use it all the way through. There's no need for you to waste it. When we make the powder, we have to get the cocoa butter, and a lot of people would call us, they want cocoa butter because they're doing cosmetics. into
So you
soaps
sell that
and
locally as well?
We sell that locally as well, yeah. A lot of the visitors that comes to us, they would buy their chocolate in stock. And I had one customer that came in that was about 4 months ago, and he bought 70 bars of chocolate.
Wow.
And he took it home. He says he never will eat other chocolate again.
Oh, wow. That
Until
wouldn't last very long.
Until he returns to Belize.
Then he returns. But what I have been doing is I have been shipping the chocolate to them.
Okay.
Excellent.
But I can't ship that just like that. It's gonna melt.
Yeah.
So what we have done is that we will go through a whole process of pressing it and then turning the chocolate into powder. And inside that is a cube of cocoa butter. Now all they need to do is just melt the cocoa butter, pour the powdered chocolate, mix it, and you put it in your refrigerator.
For a bar.
There's your go. Have your chocolate.
Oh, that's
We try to make it easy for
cool.
everybody.
And it's cool for them too to make their own chocolate bars at home.
And
they could use
we have had-
bowls, whatever.
Yeah, we have had then people ordering because they're going to have their party for their children,
Yeah.
and they want their children to make their own chocolate there and then. So
That's a great
that's
idea.
that's what we have been doing. So we're trying to make this product so that people can access it, they can use it. There's no reason why they shouldn't. So every day we're trying to think of something new for
So-
them to use.
When will the museum reopen? You said you're doing some renovations?
It's going to be by December.
Okay.
It's going to be open by December because that's the time when visitors starts to come in again and do some tours.
And you have the gift shop where people can still stop and buy their chocolate?
Yeah, what happened also is because people come in and they want to do one-stop shop. So I offer the ladies that are not the members of the other group to come in and bring their products so they could leave it there for sale. And they have been making some sales.
Excellent.
So we try to keep everything under one roof. You don't need for you to run away.
All right,
So
good.
once again, if you would like to have your own Belizean chocolate, you can pick up the Che'il Mayan chocolate. How do people get in touch with you, Julio?
We have, like I said, a small Facebook page, but our phone number is 660-3903. Sometimes that line is not very well, but you can try the other one, which is 626-4578, and you should be able to get me. I'm not hard to get. I'm very easy to get. Yeah.
Thank
But-
you so
But yeah, that's basically what we do. And before I go, I just want to tell the general public that if you are in the tour business, if you are operating a tour and you want your guests to do something quick but very exciting, they could come to us and then we can show them how to make chocolate and never regret the day because it's such a wonderful thing.
And thank you for coming all the way to Belize City to be able to share this with us. What we have to do at this time, though, is take our final break. And when we come back, we'll have our wrap up, so stay tuned.